Hi folks, welcome to Coffee and Colossians from Loch Aird, the beautiful Loch Aird, and we are here at this most stunning hotel for its setting, and McDonald's hotel here, Forest Hills I think it's called. Highly recommended. Donald McDonald can pay me an advertising fee, but absolutely gorgeous. But we are looking at this thing about peace. Now, the big thing for me about all of this is that I think these verses that we're looking at in the next 3 days are the absolute key to harmony within a church. And I think that we need a lot more of teaching on this kind of stuff. So, forgive me, by the way, for squinting in the sun and part of me being in the shade, but that's fine. You're here to hear the word, hopefully. And this is where we come to today. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Okay. As members you were called to peace and be thankful. Now we look for peace in lots of different ways, and peace within a church is essential. So we're going to look at how to live as a church. We're going to look at the peace of Christ, tomorrow the word of Christ, and then on Friday the service of Christ. So today is Wednesday. Now, I think this is a really misunderstood verse. What is the peace of Christ? We have this idea of an inner feeling. I have peace about this. I've got a peaceful, easy feeling. No, this is not a subjective guide to decision making. There are other people who think that peace is like keeping one's cool, feeling calm, tranquil, maintaining composure. But think about Jesus. At the grave of Lazarus, he wept. He cleansed the temple with anger. He sweated agony at Gethsemane. Jesus was not Spock the Vulcan, calm, cool and collected no matter what happened. But I love what he says in John 14:27. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. The key here is it's the peace of Christ. At this time there was the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. Now there is Christ's peace, the peace that comes through the cross. Colossians 1:20, for example, where it says, through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. Christ is to control every area of our lives as we relate to one another, and we're called to this peace. And it's to rule in our hearts. It doesn't mean it's buried, but it does mean that it's deep-rooted and not superficial. The heart here is the center of your emotions, the source of will, emotions, thoughts, and affections. I love what Calvin says about this. The peace of Christ is superior to all carnal affections. Why do we need it? Well, we're told this because we are called to peace, since as members of one body, we're not called to many bodies, we're not called to ourselves. This is not just about internal peace, this is about a peace between brothers and sisters. Calvin again, we cannot be in accord with God except by being united among ourselves as one body. This verse is not just about how we feel individually, but how we live in our relationships. We can't afford war, we are one body. The cross unites us. We are bought with the blood of Christ. We belong to the one body. We cannot live at enmity with that body. If we eat and drink the communion without recognizing the body of Christ, we eat and drink judgment on ourselves. Now, how does that work? There's no peace in sweeping conflict under the carpet. And there's no peace in upping the conflict. But there is peace in resolving it on the basis of the cross. So let me give you some basic advice. Firstly, your brother and sister is not your enemy. Secondly, you need to follow the biblical pattern. Follow Matthew 18. Go to your sister. Go to your brother. Not to your friends or those who will agree with you or those who emotionally blackmail you to agree with you. And don't say, I'm going to let it be, and then let it fester within you. You'll never be able to keep the bitterness down. It always rises to the surface. So you go to your brother or sister who sinned against you. Then you go to the church. And this is what church leaders are meant to deal with. Now, I think too many church leaders shy away from conflict or choose sides or deal with it in an ungodly way. Maybe another thing is we need to recognize the source of our quarrels, our spiritual adultery, our friendship with the world. Ephesians 4:3 tells us that this kind of peace takes effort and it takes the Spirit. And then notice this little phrase just at the end here, and be thankful. And my time is gone, so it's quick. I like Calvin's translation where he says, I prefer be lovable. Gratitude makes for peace and for excellent public relations. Joyfulness, praise and gratitude are fundamental parts of our lives and an essential part of peace. I think a miserable person is not usually a peaceful person. You know, sometimes you say, oh, I've got a face like Fizz. We are to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. If you aim to be miserable, you will succeed. The fact is that thankfulness is synonymous with being a Christian. You know, maybe I'll finish with this. As well as being thankful for Christ and what He's done for us, perhaps we need to consider what it is that He's done for our Christian brother and sister as well. Perhaps, therefore, thanksgiving would characterize our attitude to others. Lord, I thank you that you saved them. Anyway, that's more than enough in this beautiful spot. I could sit here all day and I could talk about this all day, but I got to go put it into practice. So God bless you and see you tomorrow. I'm not sure where I'll be, somewhere heading up north. But may the peace of Christ rule in you. Bye.